Hey guys, guess what? It's Angel. You're watching my latest video, and today I wanted to first, actually, I should welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm so glad that you found me. And if you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, I would love it if you would do so. It helped me out a ton. So that being said, today I wanted to just give a brief update, and I wanted to do that, and then we'll get into talking about what I wanted to today, which is journaling or keeping track of our medications. So briefly, I wanted to just say that I'm doing much better than the last video and the last actually the last couple of videos. I was able to meet with my new psychiatrist at the 1st of March, and he adjusted my current medications and then added something else. So that's normal for all of us, right, is to get medication adjustment. So currently what I am taking, I will share that with you because I'm open about it. It's not a big deal for me. Before I share it though, I just want to say that this is my medication that I am taking. This is not advice that I'm giving to you. I'm not qualified to do that. I'm not a doctor. So please don't take this as advice. So that being said, I'm currently, just for my bipolar diagnosis, well, I should say bipolar and my anxiety, I take, for my anxiety specifically, gabapentin. For my bipolar, I take Lamictal or lamotrigine. Some people refer to it as that. So Lamictal, I take Abilify, which is my main medication. That's an antipsychotic. And then I take they added in Seroquel, which I have taken in the past. I take, so the Abilify and the Seroquel are both antipsychotics. The two of them together, especially the Seroquel, cause tremors. And so to offset those, I take Topamax and benztropine. So those are the meds that I'm currently on. The Seroquel, actually the Seroquel was a miracle drug for me back when I first received my diagnosis and my hospital stay. They put me on Seroquel, and I was on Seroquel for 7 years and did really well on it. The only thing is it did make me really tired, and I gained 40 pounds on Seroquel, which was a real, that was a real bad side effect for that. The reason they took me off the Seroquel is because as time went on and my dose got increasingly larger, I started to develop tremors. And the tremors got to be bad, like they progressively got worse to the point that it was hard for me to hold things. I started dropping my cell phone. I started having a hard time holding like cups to drink out of and knives and forks and spoons. And so they ruled out Parkinson's because we wanted to rule that out. And then once that was ruled out, then they decided it was because of the Seroquel. So right now, them adding the Seroquel back in, they're just adding a tiny amount of Seroquel to help to calm the thoughts at night so that I'm able to go to sleep. And it is working. I'm able to go to sleep. It takes quite a while for me to go to sleep though, and then once I do go to sleep, it knocks me out for about 8.5 to 9 hours. So that is another thing that I'm having to adjust, but it is helping. I'm no longer in that mixed state, and that is a huge bonus. So that's just a little update on what's going on with me. So journaling. Okay, the reason that I wanted to talk about this today is because I just had an appointment with a brand new psychiatrist. So right now there's actually a shortage. If you probably know this, there's a shortage in psychiatrists because of, I think because of COVID. A lot more people are seeking help because they're dealing, people that haven't dealt with depression and anxiety in the past have developed problems because of their isolation and because of COVID. So my psychiatrist that I had moved to pediatrics because there was a need there. And so they assigned me a new psychiatrist. Whenever you start a new psychiatrist, and you will know this, You go in and it's generally a long session with them because they want to get your history. They want to know what you've taken and what worked, what didn't work, what side effects you had. And your list of medications can be quite long depending on how long you've known about your illness, how long you've been treated for your illness. And because of brain fog that comes with a lot of our medications, if we haven't kept a journal on what we've been on, we can forget. And in fact, I rewatched. So what happened is I am bad at journaling. I don't write things down, but because of my YouTube channel and because of videos that I've made in the past, not just with YouTube, but also Marco Polo videos that I've made. That's an app that you can get on your phone, and I communicate with one of my friends through Marco Polo. Because I've reviewed some of those videos, that I've talked about medications that I've been on, and there's one medication in particular where I've talked about in a couple of Marco Polo videos and one in a YouTube video that I forgot. I misspoke about the med. So in one video, I said that the med that I was on was Zyprexa. And in another video, I said the med was called Latuda. And then when I watched the video that was on YouTube, I got the actual name of the medication, the correct name of what I was on, which was Vraylar. And so the brain fog is real, and so we need to, if you haven't journaled in the past, it would be really beneficial for you to sit down and to try to journal what you remember today. Like, some information is better than no information. So for me, I did have the benefit of going back and looking at those videos before my visit. And it was actually happenstance that I did. I just, from time to time, I'll go through my YouTube channel, my videos, and I'll purge the ones that I think are not really good quality videos, ones that I think are not really helpful. And I just happened to come across this video that I talked about my medications. And I watched it, and I had actually forgotten about a lot of the medications that I had been on. And it was really a benefit. And it was weird that I had watched that video like 2 days before my appointment with my new psych. And so when I had that appointment, he's asking me my history of meds. And so I was able to tell him that history. And he was like, it's amazing to me that you have a knowledge of this history. And I told him, I said, don't be amazed, because, and I told him how I had come across my video and it had given me that information. So I think it is very, very important that we do this. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, before we do go to see our psychiatrist for appointments, I think it's important for us to write down questions and concerns that we have, that we want to discuss with them, because of the shortage of providers. We used to have more time with our doctors when we would go in for visits. That is no longer. Now, instead of having like 45 minutes to an hour to go and see our doctors, this is the case that I am finding. Maybe yours is different, but in my case, I'm finding that instead of having 45 minutes to an hour to see my provider, and I'm talking about my psychiatrist, I am now having 20 to 30 minutes to see them because there is such a heavy caseload. And so it's really important that I have all those things written down, because oftentimes when I get to see him, and it is always virtually, I have not seen him in person for over 2 years. It's important that I have those written down, because when he comes on and we start our visit, he has questions for me as well. And so oftentimes, if I don't have my concerns written down, I get sidetracked because I start answering his questions. And then once the session's over, I realize, oh crap, I didn't ask him about this, or I didn't ask him about that. And then I wait until, I have to wait until our next visit. So just a couple things to keep in mind that will help you manage your illness and just help you down the road, because if we don't notify our doctors about the medications we've been on and what has worked and what hasn't worked, it makes it much harder for them to provide the best care for us, and it makes it much more difficult for us dealing with these medication changes. For instance, in my case, if I had told my provider, which I probably did, that I had been on Suprexa and it didn't work for me and how horrible it was, when in reality I had been on Vraylar and how horrible it was, he may have suggested that I go on Vraylar and try it out. And to be honest, Vraylar was the worst, excuse me, medication that I've been on besides Geodon. It was torture to be on Vraylar. I would never want to go through that again. And I'm sure for you, you have instances of medications that you've been on that were just horrendous, and you would never want to go through that experience again. And that's information that's vital for you to give to your provider. So, um, I felt like this would be maybe a helpful video, just kind of a reminder. And maybe you are really good at journaling, but maybe you don't write down questions for your provider before you go in, or maybe you do, and maybe this video is just redundant for you. But for me, it was just something that I hadn't thought about until I came across that video, and then how helpful it was for me when I had my doctor's visit. So anyway, that's kind of what I have for you today. The other thing is, if you're watching this, I just want to say to you guys how much it means to me that you're taking time out of your day to watch my videos and to subscribe to my channel. I've been doing this for, oh gosh, I'm trying to think when I started. I think I started my channel back in 2012 or 2013. And I do this really for me. It's an outlet for me. I don't have a job. I have not been able to work since 2012. And so this is just an outlet for me. And I really enjoy your comments. I really, for every thumbs up that you give me, it's just very heartwarming. So if you have experiences that you can relate when you see my videos, please comment below, because I love reading your comments. And I think it's very helpful for other people that watch the videos as well. They may see your comment and it might be something they can relate to as well. I think that it's important to have a tribe, and it's important to see that other people are in it with you and that you're not alone. And that was like the real reason that I started my channel in the beginning. Is it's an outlet for me, but it's also, and I talk about this in some of my very old, very lengthy videos, but when I first got my diagnosis, I felt completely alone. I didn't know anything about bipolar, even though it runs in my family. In my family, they don't know very much about it either. And it was always, when they did talk about it, they used the word or the term manic depression. I didn't know that bipolar and manic depression were the same thing, so I didn't put two and two together when I got my diagnosis. And so the first thing I did when I got it is I came home and I went straight to YouTube and I watched everything that I could on it. And back then, there wasn't a whole lot on YouTube about bipolar. Nowadays, you go to YouTube, you type in bipolar, and just a million things come up. But I felt completely alone. And so that's another reason why I started my channel, is to connect with others and to just let people know that we're in this together. So anyway, that being said, guys, I really appreciate your time, and just I appreciate you. So that being said, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great week. And until we talk again, bye.